So you're thinking about starting a team. Now what?
At first, it may not be that hard. Say, hey, I'm a team leader. I'm going to be giving leads. And all of a sudden, I've got 15 agents or so that want to jump on my team. But if I can't keep those 15 agents happy.
A lot of things to consider, a lot of different avenues.
All right, I'm excited. So to team or not to team, why would an agent, a solo agent, want to form a team?
We get that question a lot, Derek. A lot of agents ask and call and say, how do I start a team? I want to start a team. And typically my first question is, why do you want to start a team? So that's our first topic today, is really understanding why you want to start a team. A lot of different reasons, right? You're very busy. Maybe you've reached a level of expertise in real estate that you think you're just supposed to naturally evolve and start a team. Maybe there's an agent who's asking you for mentorship and you're trying to figure out a way to be able to offer that mentorship, but also, compensate for your time. And so there are a lot of different reasons that you might want to start a team. But the real thing to ask yourself is, why am I starting a team? And so if it's because you are very busy, there may be other options for you without having to start a team. And I say having because although it sounds fantastic and it can be a very good process for agents, sometimes it's not.
Right.
Sometimes there are opportunities where you start the team and you say, I didn't know I needed to have schedules for assistants or make sure that the buyer's agents, actually go show the clients the property, or that they're following best practices that you as an experienced agent might already follow. And I think one of the best ways to think about it is that rock star agent, and there's a lot of things written in the real estate coaching industry about this, so it's not anything that we're starting here. But if you think about the rock star agent who has been very successful over their real estate career, and they naturally think every other agent that they bring on board to their team is going to have that same work ethic, the same desire to help those clients. That's not the case. And so, it can be very troubling for that type of an agent who says, hey, I'm a rock star agent myself. It comes very naturally and easy. And then you bring other people into your team, into your new team, and you give them these precious leads, or just your mentorship and your time. And then maybe they aren't as involved, through passion or through, work ethic as you were.
Absolutely. When I think about someone who may be thinking about joining a team, I think about the agent who has a lot of business. Maybe they've been in the business for a long time and they have a lot of repeat business, and it's almost more business than they can handle with excellence. And so they want to form a team to help them manage that. And so this is my perception. And then they have so many leads that they want these team members to pass those leads to. So it's kind of a win-win, so to speak, for both of them. Now, sometimes agents may want to consider an assistant, maybe versus joining a team.
Definitely.
Maybe an unlicensed assistant just to simply help with paperwork.
Yes.
Which is not a big deal. I mean, I will say that the Georgia Real Estate Commission does require a specific agreement. GAR has that type of agreement in their forms package for an agent that maybe would rather go the assistant route.
Right.
But yeah, I think about a team leader as someone with so much business they can't possibly handle it or don't want to handle it all themselves.
Yeah, and that's a good point about the assistant, because a lot of times that is the first step for that rock star agent. They say, I'm just running, I'm bursting at the seams. I have so many people. They've built up that sphere of influence. And so having that assistant that can just keep them organized and really keep the paperwork off of them, which is what a lot of it happens to be, the communications between, the inspection scheduled here and the closing date is this and that. That's a lot of the times what, those rockstar agents don't have time for, because they're out buying and selling and helping their clients do different things. So you bring up a great point about the assistant. And a lot of times that is typically our first recommendation is, do you have so much business that you need 20 agents, or do you have so much business that an assistant can just help you with that side and you can continue to be involved, with that part of your business?
Right. And it certainly allows you, if you don't want to let go, like maybe you want to remain in control. You want to remain in control of the level of excellence that buyer and seller,
Mm-hmm.
they know you.
Mm-hmm.
They are not calling you to work with your team member. you feel like they want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
That assistant can be a little powerhouse in the background.
Definitely. And I think it's important to also talk about where those leads are coming from, right? Because if they're coming from your sphere of influence, like Derek said, they probably want to work with you. And so if you're saying I'm going to build a team because I have sphere of influence leads that I want to give, that can be troubling because now your friend, family, the person you helped buy or sell 2, 3, 5 years ago says, wait a minute, I thought I was working with you, Derek, and now I'm working with this other person that's on your team. What happened? And so, it's a little easier if you're working leads that are strictly from the internet and they're all new people. They always come in. That's a little bit easier because maybe they don't expect to work directly with you, or maybe they don't even know you. They
Right.
only met that member of the team first. And so you also have to bring that into the equation. If you are in that situation where they are sphere of influence leads, our suggestion would be think about bringing on someone maybe to be a buyer's showing assistant, right? So someone that's going to help show property, or they're going to be a buyer's agent and focus on that side. And you can still focus on the listing side with those same clients. So maybe you have that client who's buying or selling, but you're meeting with them on that listing presentation with that team member agent. And now you're both there. You can kind of still hold their hand through the selling process and let them know that you'll be there kind of in the background on the buying process, but it's not that huge division, that
Right.
just complete split of, oh, I thought I was going to work with Derek and this other person showed up and now I want to work with Derek. And so, I think that's maybe if you're in that realm, sphere of influence heavy, think about it in that route if you're going to start a team.
Absolutely. And two, I would think if I'm the agent, right, and I'm contemplating joining a team and I'm going to be the team leader, one thing that I'm also thinking about is, are the leads, if leads is what I'm going to provide, are these leads going to be ongoing?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would think about, am I going to feel pressure?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I've got a couple of team members strategically, like you mentioned, but the bigger my team gets or whatnot, am I going to be able to maintain happy team members and keep channeling leads over to them?
That's a great point. And sphere of influence, a little bit easier to keep an eye on and maybe feel good about the progression of leads and the number of leads. If you're getting it from another source, whether it's social media or Zillow, Realtor, any of those places, you really never know. I mean, they could change an algorithm and now all of a sudden you're dropped off of receiving those leads, or they charge more. And now, you're in a financial situation where you have to figure out how to, adjust for that. So a lot of moving parts. That's why, and we'll get more into it, but that's why just the simple question of how do I start a team? I want to start a team can be very loaded and just reveal a lot of different things like an onion. You just have to peel it and see and answer the questions as you go. And that's what we're here for. We're here to chat with you about that. If that is something that you're interested in, we talk to agents weekly about that. And really, again, it's more of a consultation. Let's think about what's best for your business and what do you bring to the table to be able to offer team members, but also why are you doing that? Again, back to our number one question. Why are you wanting to start a team? What is it that you want to gain out of being able to do that? Time, save money, maybe be the CEO and you don't run any leads, right? So there are a lot of different models out there and a lot of experts in the industry that can kind of dive in a little bit deeper on that. But that would be our suggestion, is at least ask yourself why, and then we're happy to chat with you about that.
Right. And you're right. We do get a lot of questions about teams, and one question that I will get, or one thought process that will be presented to me, is an agent thinking that there is a lot to do, that maybe there's even some sort of legal component. They need to go to the Georgia Secretary of State and they need to form an LLC or a corporation, and they need to do this and have a team name in the MLS and come up with a team logo. And all of those things technically aren't necessary.
That's right, Derek. And I think one component of that is thinking about what is a team, right?
Right.
Because when you think about a team, a lot of agents think about massive teams, 20, 40, 100 team members, their trainings and all of these things. But really a team, if you think about it, if you're a solo agent, you're technically a team. If you really wanted to think about it in those terms, you have vendors, you have, probably lenders that you can recommend, closing attorneys, you have a broker team behind you for support. Maybe you have an assistant. I mean, really, if you wanted to think about it as basic as possible, you really are a team leader. Now, you may not market yourself that way and kind of flow into that realm, but if you want to think about it on that basic term, it can be that. So if you are thinking about starting a team, you really want to, you have, great reasons to, and all of those things, and resources to provide to team members. Don't feel like you have to go from 0 team members to 100 or 10 or 5 or 3 overnight. It is a process. And there are a lot of very successful 2-person teams out there. So, even if it's a spouse or a friend or something like that, it can be very successful with just 2 people, or maybe 2 people and an assistant.
Right. Defining a team, though, I will just throw in from a Greg standpoint. So it's no secret that the Georgia Real Estate Commission has been revising their advertising rules for years now, and they will tweak the proposal, and they still have one that's in place and is likely going to go ahead and pass. And one of the things that it does is it defines a team. So it specifically says that a team is 2 or more affiliated licensees, agents who work for the same company. So pretty basic, pretty easy to understand, but
Right.
just so we're clear,
Yes.
it is a group of agents, 2 or more, that work for the exact same real estate company.
Yes.
And there's a designated team leader, and they choose to work together and promote themselves to the public as a team.
Yeah. Derek, can you touch on team names? That's what we get a lot, right?
Yes.
Is do I have to name my team with my LLC? Back to your initial, point about having to form an LLC, because you don't, right? You don't have to do that. And then can you elaborate a little bit about if someone says, yes, I want to do the team, I have, all the structure ready to go, how should they think about the name?
Sure. So great question. So when it comes to team names, especially with the new changes that Greg has, you are required to include group or team behind your team name. Now, they have a list, I don't have it memorized, but of certain words that cannot be in your team name. LLC, INC.
Isn't it realty and some other words
Well,
that might...
they tweaked some of those out. So
Okay.
originally, the banned words or prohibited words included realty and real estate, and so they removed some of those. So realty currently is not on that list, but LLC, INC, things that would make it look like to the public. Because keep in mind, the Real Estate Commission is looking at things through the eyes of the public. Generally, that's who they are, our licensing governing body and all that good stuff. But they say they're there to protect the public, right? So they really want to make sure that these team advertisements do clearly depict the fact that it's a team working under a real estate company.
And isn't that more for the fact if a customer, client, person, citizen says, hey, I have an issue with this organization, that they don't feel like that is the top of the organization, that team, that there actually is a broker that they can contact if they had an issue with that team? Isn't that kind of the...
Absolutely. And just misleading advertising in general, and it can come up more with team logos and also team names, but everything that you do as an agent, as a licensee, is under the company that you work for, unless you open up your own real estate company. So opening up a team should not be in lieu of opening up your own company. You are a team working under Solid Source or the brokerage firm that you're with.
That makes sense. So we've kind of touched on why, thinking about why you would want to start a team, time, money, all of those great things. And then, what you bring to the table, sphere of influence leads, other leads, mentorship opportunities, right? There's a lot of new agents that get into real estate, and they really do look for maybe someone they can go along with on a listing appointment, go shadow to show a home. And so there are a lot of opportunities out there for agents to be able to do that. And we hear that all the time too, right? So it doesn't only have to be leads, but I would argue that's probably number one on the list by a long shot for what team members are typically looking for. But they also can look for mentorship and some combination of, and then there's also structure. There are a lot of agents who get into the business from corporate America or from maybe straight from school, and they're looking for more of, how do I set up my business and how do I proceed? And they're used to a schedule. And so a lot of times some teams can provide a little more of that. And that's just something that you would have to weigh with what you have and what you have to offer as a team leader.
Absolutely, because every team is different, right? So
That's
if you
right.
are an agent and you're looking to join a team, chances are you have a variety of teams to choose from.
That's right. And I just want to touch on one thing, more from the financial side of the picture. You may look and you may feel like from a financial side, I need to create this team because I need to make more money or I want to make more money or whatever the end result is. Just consider and make sure that you think about, the actual net, right? Because you may increase number of homes sold, gross volume, all of those great things, total gross commission for the actual team, but you may not. It may be a case where you're not actually increasing your net to the bottom line. So you do have to be careful about that for how much, you're either spending on leads or advertising, maybe on an assistant and different things like that you grow out this team. But there are very real examples out there in the world of growing a team, where the team leader, 3, 4, 5 years in looks back and says, I'm not really netting that much more money because I was investing in these leads and the people and the assistants and the marketing. And so you really do have to be careful and think about that. It's easy to look at all of the teams out there and think, wow, they're just raking in the money. They're, what's the Uncle Scrooge diving in the pot of money, swimming around in there. It's easy to get caught up and think that, but the truth of the matter is, they're really, it really takes a business mindset, and you really have to approach it like that. You have a solo agent business, you want it to be a business. When you have a team, now you're even a bigger business, right? You have essentially people that are responsible, looking for you for responsibility of leads and systems and CRMs. And so, that CRM that cost, $100-ish per month that you had as a solo agent, now as a team, it may cost $500 a month. And so your costs may go up, with that. So just keep that in mind. We're here to chat about all of those things, but it really is not, like Derek said, it's not one size fits all. It's not one answer that anyone can give you. And that's something else to be hesitant about. If you see that as marketing out there on the internet of click here, we'll teach you how to, create a team in 10 minutes. It's not that. There's so many avenues.
Right. And I'm sure they have a template that's worked for some folks, but really what you're hitting on, which I haven't really even thought about that much, and going back to, can I consistently give leads to my team members to keep them happy? Because at first, it may not be that hard to say, hey, I'm a team leader, I'm going to be giving leads, and all of a sudden I've got 15 agents or so that want to jump on my team. But if I can't keep those 15 agents happy, and then if the deals I'm giving them to keep them happy, to keep them on my team, are deals I could have worked and kept the full commission on, and then I'm actually maybe my income's less that year, or maybe it's not that much better for the amount of time. You just have to look at everything.
And if you think about, you gave an agent, like you said, you gave an agent on your team 5 leads. Maybe there were sphere leads. That's the cream of the crop, right? We all want more of those. You give 5 leads to them, maybe they close 2, but if you could have closed 4, by really helping your client, but 4 of those could have found homes, or you could have negotiated or whatever because of your experience. That's 2 people that didn't buy or sell with you that are probably going to think that's your representation for the rest of their time buying or selling. So a lot of things to consider, a lot of different avenues. Really you just have to look at it from a business perspective and try to figure it out that way. The great thing at Solid Source for agents joining and forming a team is how we structure things on the brokerage side when it comes to commission. So team members have a $6,000 transaction fee cap and only pay $300 per transaction fee. So, or per transaction. So you're really keeping a lot more of the commissions as even a team leader. So, that's also something to consider is, looking at the brokerage and where you're at, not only with the team, but also with the brokerage, because that team member is looking at that when they're leaving the closing table.
Absolutely. So. And I don't know of another real estate company other than Solid Source that offers the extremely competitive commission structure that we offer without having to sacrifice the support. I know there's a lot of real estate companies out there, especially in Georgia. You guys have a lot of choices.
Yes.
But to have the level of support and the access to the broker team that includes attorneys on staff.
Yes.
I'd have never seen that anywhere else. And one thing I want to throw in about teams, and have not thought about it until now, is just chatting about it, is don't forget about referrals, because maybe an assistant is the way to go. And I'm not trying to talk anybody out of a team. If you have it in your heart, that's your passion, you want to build a team, we want to help you get there.
Yes.
So that's not a discouragement at all. But if it's just maybe a moment of the year, maybe summer's your busy season, and maybe you just want to have some agents within your company that consistently provide the same level of service that you provide, and maybe that's just simply a referral to them, and you receive 25, 30%, whatever you guys agree to for it, without necessarily feeling pressure to form a team.
That's a great point. That's a great point, Derek. And that's one of the things typically we do lead off with talking about. Maybe it's an assistant. Maybe it's a referral program. Right. Maybe it's, you're going out with this agent to show properties together just to work on your craft together, right? And so it's not necessarily that you have to go to form a team and go under those kind of regulations, but maybe it's just sharing of information. And so all great points. Hopefully you've learned a lot. Derek, any final words on this?
No. Again, if you have it in your heart, we would love to help you get there. So I think that you've presented some wonderful information, just food for thought, just some things to think about when you are just brainstorming, thinking about your future. There's a lot of great options.
Yeah, definitely a lot. Reach out to us here at Your Broker Team if you have any questions about starting a team, joining a team. What would it look like? We're always open to those conversations. So thanks for joining us today, and thanks, Derek.
Absolutely.